All right. I'm trying to keep my head up because my glasses. So I'm crying and I just got done skating. See, that's the thing. I didn't feel like I needed to point this out, but I pointed it out anyways because don't let your mind wander. I was skating. I was having fun. In the process, though, today I woke up having to deal with some emotional things. And that's a part of it, right? Spiritually and physically, they're not really disconnected, okay? We're meant to experience things as a human being. It's a cycle, a connection of I'm a soul living a human experience and I'm going to live it, right? I understand that, but that doesn't, so that for a long time, that duality, which is not a duality, that interconnectedness of having a higher understanding, but also having to still feel and deal with the reality of what is here, created a lot of rifts in me personally. And Spirit took, they helped me, but I want to say that it took a long time. It's not took a long time. It just took some time to get to this point where I have more clarity. And so one of the things that I had to process today that I felt like I wanted to make a video because I'm still in the middle of processing is the fact that I have a relationship with a sister. And this relationship, though, has slowly kind of reached its pinnacle point here. Between standards is where we're at. She is living her life. And whether she realizes it or not, there are certain things that she feels a heavy weight against. And although I can say, from my perspective, I haven't really asked for too much for her except for a reciprocated relationship, show up. You know what I mean? And that's just from my viewpoint. But whatever she's got going on, that creates this, right? And honestly, I've also pointed out how when she does show up, it's usually only when she doesn't have or things aren't really going well for her. I've pointed that out before. Now, that's not here nor there. I'm only stating this from my own personal parts, right? That hurt. These are things that I've brought up. These are things that have been points of contention. And now I'm at the point where I've been deciding between if I should just I unfriended her on Facebook and block her. Now, why this is important, it's because these are two different things. I asked Spirit, because I'm talking to Spirit. I asked Spirit, what should I do? Right? Do I benefit from blocking? And there's like this, it's not really yes, no. It's more like, yeah, sure, you benefit. Yeah, you benefit. But there's also going to be a weight that you have to carry. Okay, do I benefit from not blocking? Do I just keep going the same path of not really receiving the standard that I want to receive in relationships? Whether they're familial or not. And Spirit's like, yeah, sure, you'll benefit. You'll benefit from this. But it comes again with a way that you have to process. And this process is learning about being able to hold steady. And even when someone comes in, the choice of whether I want to receive or talk and not be affected either way, whether they come in or they don't come in. And when they do come in, not having an egregious change in feeling, whether that's a drop in the stomach, a pit in the stomach, whether that's even excitement, whatever it is. You know, if there's a drastic change in your equilibrium, then there's still something there. And basically, they're saying, get to a point where that doesn't bother you. Accept the accept. And then blocking is kind of like an immediate release because what you're doing is you're closing off and blocking off the energetic tether, which would release me and create a lighter load because I'm carrying. And that's what I wanted to point out, kind of, is that we don't realize how much a connection really actually affects us. And especially one that's a familiar one and one that you really have near dear to your heart. Those are also a little bit harder. But in this case, it slowly has on its own done its thing, and now we're at the pinnacle point in my eyes. And in my eyes, I'm like, Spirit, what's the point of holding space if I'm not going to respond back, or if it's just lazy, or if it's not whatever? And then it's like, but also I feel kind of weird. I'm not good with finalities. I'm not great with completely cutting things off. I kind of usually kind of just let someone like get to the break point where they break it off, right? Whatever that is or what that looks like. I'm not really great at just when something is no longer good for me, when it no longer fits me, when it actually requires more effort without receiving. I don't know how to just end it. And that goes for jobs, that goes for relationships, that goes for things in your life that you do that aren't serving you. We just, it's not always easy just to create a finality with something. And in this case, I feel like this is a good tester for me. Why I'm talking about it is because it's a reality that we probably experience. Um, my nose is like really, really itchy. Ugh. I know like spiritualists always have that, but like I don't want my nose peachy. I don't like it. Find something else. Whew, thank you. But there's some reality to it. All right. So my point is that I'm in the middle of processing of what I should do. And obviously I will never post this until I've actually gone through the motions, worked through it myself, and then made a decision. But the reason why I brought it up is because I think that a lot of the times the people that I tend to come across, the spiritualist or conscious minded people that I tend to come across, aren't always showing you what a physical reality looks like with the conscious reality here. Um, um, sorry, uh, it's kind of like I had my hand up and it was kind of like someone was like, no, let's not do that. But here, so here, this loved one is trying to say that although we experienced a reality that through a lens that we feel is the most and honest and truest lens, it doesn't always necessarily mean that it's not correlated and connected to a conscious lens. And therefore, a lot of the times we kind of forget or disconnect between the two when they're really connected. Thank you. So, in this case, I wanted to say loved ones, but I'm talking as myself and not as spirit. Loved ones. Um, I am having a real reality here is that the conscious understanding that if I do this, and the other part of this is its energetic reason for why it's in my life in the first place, and what side of myself do I want to handle. And that's what the way it is. The way it is, I learn interpersonal like boundaries where someone can still be present and I can love them exactly for who they are and not be affected by who they are, which is a good lesson to learn. Or I can kind of get the immediate benefits. So one of the things I did though was I was going to ask, well, how do they feel if I block them? And Spirit said, don't ask that question because I do song divination. Don't ask that question because that basically puts validation on your actions and you don't need to be validated for the choices that you decide to make. So instead, Spirit had me ask, how does she benefit? What does she get out of this beautiful blessing? Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's a blessing of lessons that we get to participate in. And Spirit broke it down for me, and I'm just like, oh, that's so good, right? The first part, the second part makes me have to really look within myself that my presence no longer in her life will benefit her. I've done nothing wrong. I have done nothing wrong. But my presence not being in her life benefits her. And I had to read that and accept that just like in my reality, I will benefit from her not being in my life. She will benefit from me not being in hers. And not because we're toxic people, because we're not. Not because she's done something terrible to me, because she hasn't. And I also have not to her. It's just a simple fact that the weight of our connection weighs so heavily on us in a very subconscious but very real way that no longer having to worry about it frees up a drastic amount of space for the both of us. And I have to decide and accept, because I feel like crying, of course, inside, because no one wants to hear, hey, I didn't do anything, but you benefit from not talking to me. You benefit from not being with me. You benefit from not loving me. You benefit from that. And the level of acceptance in knowing I'm so proud. I'm so happy. I am so grateful. I'm so glad that you get to feel freedom and get to pursue the things that you want to pursue because you no longer have that weight and come into that full acceptance. Now I have that, but I have to come into this full acceptance and I have to decide how I want this to go. But I'm leaning towards one that I think is the best for both of us. But I also worry about like, well then how do I gain the most, you know? And I think it's like you gain the most if you go here. But you gain the best if you go here. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the reality. So the point, I don't even think there's a point, but this is the conversation, and I hope that it helped you in some form or fashion. Because, like I said, I'm still processing this, so there's been no decision made. And again, by the time before you even this sees the light of day, I will have already dealt with it and processed it. And I'm not sure if I'll make another video on it, but I know I wanted to make a video on it now to show like uh, a reality, yeah, of processing and trusting and aligning with what it means when we talk about letting something go, when we talk about releasing, and when we talk about um like connections. Yeah, it's not always easy said and done. There's a process, there's layers to it. um yeah, for some reason I want to end it, but there's this level of not ending it. The perfect fucking example.